My sister steps into the forest, her basket swinging loosely on the crook of her arm. Mother calls to her, telling her to be careful, to watch for snakes and wolves and bears. My sister laughs. She isn't afraid of snakes, and who has seen a bear or wolf around here lately? Still, my mother calls to her, imploring that she watch her every step. All my sister does is wave, and then she is gone, lost in the shadows of the trees. Finally old enough to help my mother around the cottage, I busy myself by chopping wood, something Father used to do before he left for the war. After he left, I asked Mother what war it was, and she didn't know. There were always wars, always fighting, always a need for strong men, living men like Father. I chop the wood and sweep the stoop and carry water to our hog, and wait for my sister to return. Mother has a chicken in the pot over the fire. We'd had an onion left and a couple of small potatoes. Those had gone in too, but my sister is off to forage mushrooms, and if we are lucky, maybe some fiddleheads, maybe some wild garlic. The sun was high in the sky when she left. It's dropped and is looming close to the tops of the hills, sending shadows across our small field, fallow now for the season. I feed the hog what slop we can afford to give it. If the goal is to fatten the hog, we are not doing such a great job of it. The poor thing is as skinny as we are. Father promised to send his soldiers' wages to us weekly. It's been months now, and we haven't heard a word from him. Mother says it's because the mail is slow during war. Couriers are set upon by thieves and robbers, and the letters and packages they carry are stolen. She says that's why we haven't received any letters or money from Father. But I hear her crying at night and know that perhaps it isn't true. Her crying is filled with sorrow and loss, not waiting. I fear Father may not make it back to us. I also fear that my sister won't either, so I fetch my jacket, tie it tight around my body, and grab Father's heavy walking stick. Mother asks where I am going. I tell her to look for Sister. I can see my mother struggling not to be afraid. She used to be good at that, pretending not to be afraid. But with Father off and Sister in the woods and a baby in Mother's belly, all I see now on her face these days is all sorts of fear. I'll tell her that I'll be safe, I promise. No snakes or wolves or bears will get me. My mistake is plain on Mother's stricken features. I shouldn't have said that. Now I can see that all she's thinking about are the snakes and wolves and bears that have gotten Sister, and now will get me. With a shake of Father's walking stick as a farewell, I step toward the woods. Their shadows are darker, deeper than when Sister left. I have an hour or two before I'll be in the pitch dark. Putting a little urgency in my step, I hurry between the trees, my eyes desperate to make out the path that Sister took. Walking briskly, I think about where she would go. Mushrooms grow plentifully, so she wouldn't have had to travel far to find some. Almost at random, I choose a direction, and soon I'm proven right as I see bare patches on fallen, rotting logs where fungus used to perch. Sister has been this way. Buoyed by this discovery, I push on, my eyes flitting left and right, hunting for more signs of Sister's foraging. But soon I've lost the trail. There are no mushrooms this way. Sister must have seen this and decided to press on. She is going for the fiddleheads. There is only one place the fiddleheads grow in these woods, and that is down by the stream. So I turn in that direction, hoping Sister has found a bountiful patch, which is why she has been gone so long. Despite the darkness taking over the woods, I am not afraid. When I find Sister, she and I will walk hand in hand back to the cottage, back to Mother and that pot with the chicken in it. We'll cook up the mushrooms and fiddleheads together, using some of the last of the lard. It'll be a splendid meal and evening, and we won't even miss Father. Not for long, at least. But when I reach the stream, Sister is not there. But her basket is, sitting alone on a rock, a handful of mushrooms inside, but no fiddleheads. I look up and down the stream, but cannot see her. I cup my hands to my mouth and call for her, but there is no response. Perhaps she stepped away because nature called. That is probably what has happened. So I sit on a dry rock and use Father's walking stick to poke and prod at the smooth pebbles at the bottom of the stream. I disturb a few larger rocks, and crawfish scurry away, looking for a safer, deeper, darker home to hide in. The evening light is almost gone, but Sister hasn't returned to fetch her basket. I stand and call her name again and again. Someone calls back from deep in the woods. I pause and listen. They call again. It's Sister. It must be. Grabbing up her basket, I rush away from the stream, from the ferns, and dive back into the darkness. I call to her again, and she responds. West. She's west. I know my directions and rarely get lost, so it takes me no time at all to find her. And someone with her. Father? Sister sees me and runs up to me, wrapping me in her arms. She is crying and laughing and so happy. She found Father wandering alone, lost, trying to find the cottage. I laugh and cry and hug her back. Then I push away and hurry over to Father. He takes me in his arms and lifts me up, swinging me around and around. His walking stick falls from my grasp, landing in the wood's soft soil at his feet. I try to look into his eyes that are like mine, but I can't quite make out his face, and the smell of him is wrong. Not that strong, sweet smell he always had, but a sickly smell. A wrong smell, Mother would call it. It must be the smell of war. Setting me down, I pick up his walking stick and offer it to him. He looks at it like he's never seen it before. He takes it from me, turning it over and over in his hands. Then he nods and starts walking. Sister and I clasp hands and hurry up beside him. She prattles on, talking about how much she has missed Father and how much work she has had to do because he has been gone. I interrupt to say that I chop the wood now and slop the hog. He doesn't respond, just walks with us, that heavy walking stick of his almost leading us along the path. That smell gets stronger the longer we walk, and I glance at Father, wondering if he'll tell me about the war and what he saw and why he smells so strongly of it. Mother said it was being fought in a foreign land, a place far, far from our cottage, but not where exactly. I ask him where it was. Father does not answer, just looks at me and sort of smiles. It's hard to tell without fully seeing his face. Sister keeps talking about her grammar studies that Mother is helping her with. She makes a point of saying that I am not so good at reading. While it's true, she doesn't need to tell Father this. So I counter and say that she's no good at needlepoint, which is frustrating Mother to no end. This is a sore spot, and Sister gets angry, yanking her hand from mine so she can walk a few feet ahead of us. I take Father's hand instead. It's cold and clammy, feeling like a waxy pear I once saw a peddler selling in the village square. I'd picked it up off his cart, only to look at it, and he'd smacked the back of my hand with a cane. Father had loomed over the man, insisting that the peddler apologize. He refused, but when he saw that others were staring, and he was going to lose business because of it, he reluctantly handed me the pear as his way of saying sorry. I held that pear in my swelling hand and clutched it to my chest. It took Mother half an hour to convince me to let it go so she could slice it and make a tart with it. Something wriggles under the skin of my father's hand. My instinct is to pull away, disgusted. But this is Father, and I won't ever let his hand go again. If he's called back to the war, he'll have to drag me along with him. Sister stops sulking and slows down, letting us catch up to her. She asks Father why he didn't send word that he was returning home. He doesn't answer. I remind Sister of what Mother said about the couriers being waylaid on the road. All of their letters and parcels stolen by robbers. She says that isn't true, because others in the village have been receiving letters. She even says that her friend, Annalise, got a package of thread sent to her from her great aunt just the other day. I argue that she is wrong, then ask Father what he thinks. Father has no opinion. It sure has gotten dark in these woods. I mention this, and Father only squeezes my hand, then points his walking stick toward a gap between two oaks. No one knows these woods like Father, so I trust him to lead us in the right direction. But then why did Sister find him wandering, all lost? Mother told us that sometimes when men return from war, they aren't quite the same. I asked if it meant they got taller or wider, or lost their hair. She smiled and patted my head, explaining that she meant up there, in the mind, some men change. That is probably what has happened to Father. He had a mind change and got himself turned around. But Sister found him, and I found her. And now that Father has his walking stick, he knows exactly where to go. An owl hoots above us, then takes flight, its huge wings sounding like a gust of wind, off to hunt for night mice. I ask Father what he ate while he was in the war. He doesn't answer. Sister says it must have been awful if he won't tell us. I'm kind of glad he doesn't say anything. My stomach can be weak, and I'm looking forward to the chicken in the pot, so I don't want to risk being ill when we reach the cottage because of some description of awful war food. Forgetting that she is upset, Sister tells a story about her other friend, Rosalie, and how the two of them went to look for honey and ended up running all the way home. chased by a swarm of bees. I laugh because I remember how I could hear her and Rosalie screaming from half a mile away. By the time they reached us, Mother thought they were being chased by a bear, or perhaps the devil himself. Sister and I laugh. Father only squeezes my hand. Then he stops, pulling my arm roughly. I wince at the pain in my shoulder it causes, and go to ask him why he did that when I hear it. A low growl. Sister stops her talking and presses close to Father and me. I don't have to ask what is growling. Sister and I know what wolves sound like. Father pushes us behind him, then steps forward, his walking stick held out. The growl gets louder. There's a second one behind us, making Sister cry out and turn so fast that she trips and falls, her basket tumbling several feet away. Father grips his walking stick in both hands, treating it like a staff. He looks to the first wolf, which I can only see because its eyes glow from the little bit of moonlight falling through the trees. Then Father looks at the second wolf, the one that startled Sister, and is now inching closer to us. Father moves toward that one, and it pauses. Its muzzle lifts and nostrils flare. Then it whines. It shakes its head as if it is having bad thoughts. Can wolves go to war and have their minds changed like men's are? Taking another step toward it, Father doesn't even have to brandish his walking stick. The wolf whines, then tucks its tail and runs off into the night. I hear the first one do the same, and when I look that way, it is gone as well. Sister and I cheer and dance about Father. He does not cheer. He says nothing, then slowly lowers his walking stick, which forces us to unclasp our hands and stop dancing, or get an accidental knock to our temples from the ends of the stick. Father points one of those ends ahead, and he moves quickly between the trees. Sister and I catch up, chatting away about how wonderful and brave and amazing it was that he saved us from not one, but 2 wolves. We can't wait to tell Mother. The war smell grows stronger, probably because Father had to scare off the wolves. I wonder if you get used to smelling like that when you are fighting in a war. I ask Father. He doesn't answer. Sister tells me to stop asking him so many questions, that he's not answering because he's saving up all the answers for Mother. When we reach a crossroads in the trail, Father stops. I tell him that we have to go straight, that our cottage is only a little way ahead. He doesn't move, and when I do, he pulls me back by my sore shoulder. Then I realize that the war smell is even stronger here at the crossroads. I ask why we are waiting. Sister shushes me. Then we see several men come walking along the path crossing ours. The war smell is so thick that I'm afraid I'll gag. It reminds me of the time a raccoon got caught in our chimney and died. Sister and I recognize some of the men. There's Thomas's father and Leon's father. Sister waves at Annalisa's father, but he doesn't wave back, which annoys her. The men walk along, their heads hanging, their feet shuffling, none even glancing in our direction. The smell is awful. I have come to the realization that I don't like the smell of war. I don't say this to Father, for fear of offending him. He fought hard to gain that smell, I am sure. For him and these other men returning home, it is like a badge of honor. We'll see what Mother thinks about it when we return home. She always said Father smelled of earth and pine. But just like men's minds when coming home from a war, their smells are bound to change too. The other men finally pass by. Sister shouts for Annalise's father to say hello from her. But the man doesn't look back or acknowledge her call. I start to walk forward, but Father stops me. We stand still and wait until we can't even hear the shuffling feet anymore. Then Father points again with his walking stick, and off we go. Another owl hoots, but this one doesn't go hunting, just sits in its tree or on a limb and hoots, hoots, hoot, hoots. I ask Father if there were owls around when he fought in the war. But like with all of my questions tonight, he doesn't answer. Sister shouts that she can see the cottage. I tell her she's mistaken, because no one can see anything in this darkness. She argues and skips ahead. Father doesn't protest, so maybe she's right. Done with questions, I hold Father's cold, clammy, waxy hand and just enjoy having him back, war smell and all. Then the trees begin to thin, and I know we are close to home. I ask Father if he is excited to see Mother, but before he can answer, a woman screams, "Mother! Mother is in trouble." Father stops. I shouted him that Mother screamed, but he doesn't budge. I pull and pull on his hand, but he still doesn't budge. Crying drifts to us, Mother's, and now Sister's as well. I plead with Father to hurry, to come with me so we can help them. His head shifts, and he stares at me with eyes that I can now see are milky white. I back away, not sure why Father's eyes would look like that. He lifts a hand, and I pause. Then he holds out his walking stick. I stare at it. He gives it a shake. With tentative hands, I take it from him, my arms dipping a little from its weight. Father makes it look so easy when he grips the stick. I hope he'll teach me how to hold it that way one day. The crying increases, and I glance toward the cottage. When I look back, Father is gone. I try to look for which way he went, but there are no footprints or broken twigs. There is absolutely no sign that he was even there. I call for him and call for him, but he doesn't appear. I keep calling until my voice is hoarse. Still no Father. I actually think of diving back deeper into the woods to hunt for him, but it is full-on night now, and even with the moon above, I know I'll be lost in no time. Cold, hungry, and worried, I let my shoulders drop, then walk slowly home. Coming out of the woods, I see Mother and Sister hugging each other on the cottage's porch steps. I run to them, dropping the walking stick in the grass. When I reach them, I ask and ask what is wrong, but they cannot tell me, their sorrow too great. Then I see a piece of paper on the ground, a letter. The courier must have made it at last. Sister is right. I am not a good reader, but I puzzle out what the letter says as Mother and Sister continue to sniffle and hold each other, Mother's hand upon her big belly. When I finish reading the letter, I realize how wrong I was. Father never left the war. His body is still there, unrecovered, most likely rotting in foreign mud. And that wasn't the smell of war in the woods. It was the smell of death. A smell I do not care for one bit. I lean in and cry with mother and sister. Then I pick up father's walking stick and point inside the cottage. We all get up and go inside. And as I set the stick to the side of the door and close it, the smell of war wafts to me. And I wonder if father is truly gone, truly still on that foreign battlefield, or if he is still out in those woods, secretly watching over us.